Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of Every Rock Has a Story. I'm so excited today to be joined by Professor Adrian Castro, who comes to us from Wellesley College, just down the road. And Adrian's brought actually a bunch of different rocks from his hometown, and he's going to tell us about that story. Adrian, thanks for being here. Tell us about these rocks and tell us where they're from.
Yeah, so I brought a handful of rocks. The first one is from Pelham Bay, or Orchard Beach, really, in sort of the northeast of the Bronx.
The Bronx?
Yes.
New York City?
New York City,
You're
my
from
hometown.
New York City?
I am indeed.
Can you explain what's going on with our nice saber-toothed tiger skull?
I just had to represent my hometown, you know.
So I think is that a Mets hat?
Oh, no, actually, it's a Yankees hat.
Oh, the Yankees. I think I've heard of that team.
Kingdom
I'm
of
a Red
Jeter.
Sox fan. We're here in Boston, Massachusetts, so I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to remind you and all of our viewers, in episode number 5 about the lava rock, I was wearing my Red Sox hat. The Red Sox and the Yankees are big competitors. Anyway, I think it's great that you brought your Yankees hat and you've decorated our saber-tooth with that. So you're from New York City?
I'm from New York City, born and
These
raised in the
rocks are
Bronx.
from New York City?
Yes.
Huh.
This is from Orchard Beach.
Yep.
Leave that right there.
I'll take a look at this one.
This one is from the Bronx Zoo. The
That's
tar.
from the zoo?
Yes, and these rocks, along with a couple others I'll show in a second,
Yeah.
tell the story of the tectonic history of New York City.
The tectonic history of New York City.
Yeah.
Huh.
So the history of mountain building, like in your episode of on the Acadian orogeny.
Uh-huh. That was probably episode 33, where we talked about this rock here. This one's from Vermont.
Yeah.
So probably has a similar story to some of these rocks.
So we had North America and this landmass out in the ocean slamming in and building these mountains. Now, these have been stuck together in what we call a suture.
So a suture, it's kind of like when a doctor, like when you get a cut, and a doctor comes in and they put a suture, they stitch up that to hold your skin together.
Exactly, and then it heals together and now becomes this one big continent.
Yeah.
Right? But where that suture is kind of interesting because on the one side, you have rocks that originated from North America, and on the other side, you have rocks that originated from this other landmass. And this is North America. The exotic terrain was basically just a chain of islands offshore that slammed into North America and made our mountains.
Okay, and then in that regard, the suture that you're looking for is right there.
Yep, where they
That's
join
where
together.
they're stitched together. And the question is whether that's in New York City or someplace a little different.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
So the suture between the two is thought to run basically right through the Bronx and Manhattan.
So I was going to ask about that because I've been to New York City before. It's one of the biggest cities in the entire world. You're saying that right in one of the biggest cities in the entire world, you can find rocks, beautiful rocks like these two
Yeah.
right here.
In fact, this is a picture of me as a 3-year-old playing in the water at Orchard Beach, and probably 20, 30 meters north of here is where we find exposure to these
Wow,
guys.
so that's where you grew up?
Yeah.
Right there in the
Oh, yeah.
Bronx?
Spent the summer in Orchard Beach
Wow.
all the time.
Oh my goodness.
And at the surface level, it kind of makes sense. You look at the rock from Orchard Beach, and it looks very distinctive. You have light layers and dark layers, and these form because the rock melts just a little bit when it gets to really high temperature.
Yeah.
Right? And then that melt will crystallize and make these light layers. And so
Yeah.
you get this light and dark banding.
That reminds me actually of another episode, episode 41. That was called Ultra High Temperature. And this rock right here also has those light and dark bands. This one got really hot. But those, so these light and dark bands, that has that orangey pink color. What mineral is that?
That's potassium feldspar.
Yep, I thought it was.
Yep.
And this is so much fun. That's over here too. This is from episode number 4 about continents. I think that's the same potassium feldspar that's in this rock, except this is a granitic melt, and this one used to be a schist.
Yeah.
And it melted because of the mountain building.
Yes, exactly. So this is from like deep roots in the mountain where it gets hot enough to melt. Now this is a Manhattan schist, and it looks pretty different, right?
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't look like it's been melted very much.
So you think that the suture might be between that rock and this rock?
That's the traditional
somewhere
story.
in between.
Yeah. But if you go to different places in New York, in this case, this is a rock from Marcus Garvey Park, which is essentially in Harlem. And it's supposed to be the Manhattan schist, but it is also a little bit melted.
It does. And in fact, if we compare these two, They do look similar. You
Yeah,
can see
in
a little bit of
space.
orange in there.
Yeah.
A little bit of the black stripes, and I think I see some garnet in both of these rocks.
Yeah.
That red bit there, and
Exactly.
there's some nice garnet right on, yep, that face right there. These do look similar.
Yeah. So the story is a little bit muddy. That is largely, I think, because we, as a field, have not really looked to these urban areas, these cities, these suburbs, as places to do geology. But these rocks tell really important stories, just as important as anything you find in a mountain or a desert or a glacier.
Yeah.
And myself and my collaborators, Dr. Nick Tailby and Stephen Jarrett at the Natural History Museum in New York City, have been looking a lot more at these rocks. And there's something really interesting that has come out of that. So I know you did an episode on garnet geochronology.
We did, yeah, that was 33. That was about this one from
Yeah.
Vermont, episode 33.
There's another mineral that is also really useful for geochronology, and that's zircon. The rocks that come from North America should have zircons that look like North American zircon.
Yep.
The rocks that come from this exotic terrain should have zircon that look like not North America.
Yeah.
And what we found, actually, is that the zircon in all of these samples look exactly the same, and they all look North American.
Oh.
So the suture, right, is always mapped as going right through New York City. It's probably a bit offshore.
Interesting.
Yeah, and all of this belonged originally to North America.
And you were able to solve that puzzle by collecting rocks from the Bronx, from Harlem, and these rocks also tell this story of
Yes.
ancient mountain building and collisions and suturing together.
Totally. Yeah.
So when you grew up in the Bronx, when you were a kid, and you showed us that picture of you on the beach there,
Yeah.
were you always interested in geology, or is that something that happened later on?
Yeah, so I was definitely always interested in rock, and I had a little rock collection from things that were in New York City, just what you found
did?
on the sidewalk
So
or in
you
parks.
collected rocks right there in New
I
York
did,
City where
yeah,
you grew up.
yeah. My mom might still have some of them,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuck with me. And kind of followed me through high school. And I rediscovered these rocks while I was in graduate school, and I was visiting my mom for her birthday, and she wanted to go to the beach, so we went to Orchard Beach, and then it was like unseasonably warm November. We walked up the shore, and I looked down at my feet, and I saw these beautifully squishy, partially melted rocks, and these garnets and potassium feldspars, and I was like, well, this is a story.
Yeah.
And I think it ultimately goes back to the point that, a lot of times in pop culture, we have this image of geologists and geology as being done in these remote environments, mountaintops, deserts, places like that. But geology can be done anywhere and should be done anywhere,
Yeah.
and by anyone. I think the geology of New York City and Bronx and Manhattan is particularly great story to show that.
Yeah, I agree. Adrian, thanks so much for being here. This was really, really exciting to hear your story and see all these incredible rocks from New York City. So today, Adrian took us on an adventure to New York City. Rocks, geology, stories of ancient mountains and ancient continents, all beneath one of the largest cities in the entire world, New York City, which is where Adrian grew up. A lot of people tell me that they can't really do geology or they can't find any rocks because they live in a city. Now, the next time someone tells you that you can't be a geologist because you live in a big city, don't believe them. Trust what Adrian showed you. You can find rocks at the park, at the beach, in a parking lot, all over the city, like Adrian showed us in that episode. And it's the stories that those rocks tell can be just as exciting and dramatic as rocks that come from even more crazy places. I would say that rocks from our biggest cities hold some of the most interesting stories of the ancient Earth, but also what people have built by adding our own layer of geology on top of those cities. We'll see you at our next episode. Bye-bye.